Nice.
Hey Kingdom, recently I got loads of comments and people telling me that I need to play Frost Monk. I don't know why, because I showed you this build 1 year ago and it only got worse. Instead we will stay ahead of the meta and play Killing Palm. Skill that you probably never saw and don't know how it works.
Who the hell is that?
Skill that is basically Flicker Strike straight from level 1, and with the right support gems it's completely broken.
I fucking knew it.
No, you didn't fucking know it. I just told you.
But you're also interested how I was able to one-shot this boss, so let me explain. As usual, we start in Riverbank by getting our Wrapped Quarterstaff, and then first skill, Falling Thunder. It's pretty useless, so we will use basic attacks to beat first boss, and only using Falling Thunder if we need to defeat big crowd of zombies. Boss always drops some currency and items. Now you need to pray to get something good, and then head towards Clearfell to get skill gem from Renly. By the way, I prepared shopping list for you in a pinned comment, but we don't have any money, so let's hope for something good, like movement speed or life. No, we got only mana. Anyway, I will use my first currency on my weapon and hope for great physical damage increasement. I got it instantly and then went straight to Clearfell. That's where in Abandoned Camp I can get one more skill gem level 1, and I will use the first one to create Killing Palm. It's unavoidable dash strike that gives power charges when we kill enemies. Second gem can be used to create Frozen Locus or Frost Bomb, but it doesn't matter because with enough power we can use Killing Palm as Flicker Strike and dash from target to target, get power charges and basically melt first boss. And that's gameplay loop. Get power charges by killing enemies with Killing Palm and then use power charges to unleash this crazy lightning attack with Falling Thunder. Then we can go to Mud Burrow, and definitely don't skip this boss because we need few support gems to completely destroy Act 1. You will get skill gem from this worm, but after you get back to town and talk with Renly, he will give you support gem, and we will create Thrill of the Kill on Killing Palm. Now we will get a lot of extra damage as lightning whenever we kill enemies, and we will kill them a lot. This will grant us even more damage, so we never will fall off of damage and we will be able to one-shot them and unleash insane power. Anyway, I decided to create Frost Bomb to reduce enemies' resistances, because most fearsome enemy over here near the Witch Hut. And instead of fighting her, I fought little guys, I instantly one-shotted them, get power charges and then melted this lady, getting one more support gem and creating Rage. Now whenever I attack enemies, I generate Rage, which will increase all my damage. But still don't forget you're just melee monk and you can die pretty quickly. But when it works, it's insanely fun and cool looking. While you're in Red Veil, don't forget to open all refined arms, because that's where you can find upgrade for your stuff. I dropped currency on top and got level 2 melee skills and physical damage. Now my damage is just insane, and that's how I'm jumping through enemies like they never exist. If you're curious, I reached level 6 by this point, so it's not super fast build, it took me around 10 minutes to get here, and then with full power charges, a little bit of rage and Frost Bomb to reduce enemy resistance, I unleashed with Fallen Thunder, and I guess it was critical hit, but it's definitely amazing. Anyway, this guy drops one more skill gem and I will create Staggering Palm. Now, I will use Staggering Palm to stun few guys and get this buff for projectile attack. Again, that's a lot of damage on top and we can continue jumping from enemy to enemy. However, you may notice that our power kinda drops versus bosses. We will fix it soon, don't worry, but don't forget to defeat this rotten druid and get one more support gem from him. You will see every support gem I used on top, but also you may find them on my planner on Mobalytics. Fighting basic monsters is super fun at this point, but when it comes to bosses, you will see that you're basically stuck. Like I am right now. That's mostly because we lack synergy versus bosses, but you can change rage from your Killing Palm to basic attack and it will be a little bit easier versus bosses. However, it will be easier in a few seconds no matter what, after you defeat all symmetry bosses and go straight to Hunting Grounds. You should find one more skill gem level 3 at this point. Still, you should have no problems versus basic monsters, but against bosses we will add Tempest Bell, and even with basic attack, this single skill alone adds loads of damage on top, and you will easily melt everyone. If you're lucky, you will find good gothic quarterstaff around level 11, and that's another upgrade for your weapon. If it rolls something good, you will have no problems until end of this act, because after beating Executioner you will unlock skill gem level 5, and that's what will give you nice upgrade, especially for bossing. Make sure to clear leak mechanics at this point, because that's where you can get the skill gems. We will make Ice Strike. If you want more clear, get Ice Bite, so whenever you freeze enemies you will get some extra cold damage on top, but you don't need it. Basically just use Ice Strike versus bosses, drop Bell whenever you can, and that's the 4 gems I used right now. However, you may notice overabundance on Tempest Bell. It will be no longer needed in upcoming 0.5 patch. That's why this build is optimized for martial artist, flicker strike use, and also for all changes in upcoming patch. Still, if you enjoy what you're seeing on the screen right now, to pull this stuff off, there is only one single important thing. You just need to have enough damage and mostly on your weapon. Will this work with Hollow Palm? We will talk later, and technically yes it is, but I will explain you why I'm going for quarterstaffs, because this quarterstaff at the start of Act 2 will carry me straight to Act 3. Yeah, it's so powerful and amazing. And of course don't forget, first of all you need to prepare enemy to be killed by your killing palm. Then kill him, get your buff, get your charges ready, and then unleash with extra stunning attacks, with extra projectiles on top, and that's how it all works. So yeah, it's pretty amazing, pretty fun, pretty fast, and I used Acolyte of Chayula for this run, because of course we can't use Martial Artist yet, but 0.5 we will get Martial Artist instead of Chayula, and this will clear our weakest spot, bosses. Not every boss will have loads of small guys to generate charges from. The first point will be spent into Hollow Focus. It will create random bells around you. Every hit against them will be critical hit, and at the same time they are coolable and also stunnable. Therefore, you can generate these charges even before boss fight or in the middle of the boss fight, and you will be able to use Falling Thunder against bosses or even against basic enemies whenever you want, and you always will be with these power charges with Stunning Palm buff, and it's just amazing how powerful we can be. Still, don't forget, you need to first of all generate this power, and then you can run around and destroy everyone with just one hit. Bells again will help us with this, and also they create area of effect damage just in combat, so that's a lot of extra damage on top. As I told you, overabundance that removes duration of Tempest Bell will no longer be needed, and we will get 3 charges of Tempest Bell. Right now it's impossible to play without it. It will significantly improve our damage output, because we will be able to drop powerful support gems. When you upgrade your Ascendancy later, you can get Way of the Stone Fist for powerful gloves, Martial Adept to generate more combo for more bells, or even Runic Meridians to fix your resistances, because our defense is really big problem. Yeah, you will see how squishy Monk is. Basically, you're seeing on the screen right now few of my attempts against second act boss. I want to keep it as fair as possible. Yeah, this build is powerful and it can completely melt bosses, but whenever you don't have enough power, you won't be able to survive easily. But with Martial Artist it should be a lot easier, especially against bosses. So, if nothing will change when you reach Act 3 and clear leak mechanic, you will find uncut support gem tier 3. That's the earliest place where you can get it. And you can make some funny tech against bosses if you don't like current playstyle. You want to have low tier Entangle if you get some skill gems. You drop it on the ground and it will do nothing. But if you add Biting Frost support gem, it will instantly destroy ice crystals, and you can create this funny combination rotation. Entangle and then boom 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 ice crystals from frozen locus. But as you can see, even funny rotation combination is not enough without enough damage. So I decided to check, is Hollow Palm actually good? I will compare my newly acquired quarterstaff versus quarterstaff from Act 2. So it's 1.4 versus 2k damage. Increasement is insane. Now with Hollow Palm we will see that it's still 1.4. So yes, it's playable, it's viable, you can go with Hollow Palm, but I decided to get back to town and spend all my gold and all my resources to try to get best armor possible. I left without gold and my damage does not improve a lot. I switched back to powerful quarterstaff and now look at this boss. This combination is funny. I used this combination again in Azak Bok to get my spirit buffs. And speaking about them, In Act 1 I picked Herald of Thunder to increase my damage output and my clear. Then I picked Herald of Ice in Act 3 and then Wind Dancer in Interlude. However, I really recommend getting Wind Dancer earlier to increase your survivability. About this funny tech, I just wanted to share it with you because it looks funny and I mean it's just fun, but definitely you're not supposed to use it and you can fight without it pretty easily. Just use Ice Strike, Bells and it will be fine. But if you want to have some funny techs in your arsenal, that's the one. Okay, now let's discuss Flicker Strike. I designed this build to play campaign in Flicker Strike fashion, so you can play and feel like you're playing with Flicker Strike, but in reality it feels even better. If you're not starting this build at day 1, I really recommend to look for Trample Toe. If they are affordable, you will just speedrun whole campaign and even endgame. It's super powerful with Killing Palm. But before we get to Flicker Strike finally, do I recommend this as League Starter? Well, yes and no at the same time. If you played the game before and you know when to upgrade weapons and how to upgrade weapons, how to not waste your currency, you will have fantastic time. But if you're new to the game or want something more stable, I recommend this build that I will leave link to in a pinned comment. However, even with this Flicker Strike build, I cleared campaign pretty fast. It took me around 6, maybe like 6.5 hours. But let's be honest, I was lucky a few times with really good rolls on some weapons, especially early on. And you may notice I'm not using Flicker Strike at the end bosses. That's because I used Flicker Strike mostly when I unlocked it in Interludes, because you require to have level 51. To clear basic monsters. Yeah, it helps us to travel faster and build just zooms through the map. It's insanely crazy and fun. But here you see footage of me in Act 3 without Flicker Strike, and it also looks super fast. So do we actually need Flicker Strike? Look at the Flicker Strike when I just unlocked it versus bosses. Here's the damage, and it's honestly just laughable. Here's I tried it once again. Again, it's laughable. And the biggest problem with Flicker Strike, we are vulnerable. Yeah, we can be one-shotted while we're using Flicker Strike. To actually inflict damage with Flicker, we want to have high critical hit chance and critical damage bonus, but we will be able to get it only later in the game. So while you're playing campaign, technically you don't need Flicker Strike. If you want to have Flicker Strike feeling, well, this build is for you, because this Killing Palm and Stunning Fist is what you want. By the way, you will notice I'm using Unique Amulet in a planner, and it gives me skill speed. But this footage that you're seeing on right now recorded without this amulet. I'm using basic stellar amulet with no bonuses. So yeah, skill speed kinda scales this build, but it is not a requirement. And I used this amulet because I was lucky. Again, it's super lucky run. Anyway, you should already see extra synergy on the screen. And it's of course our charged stuff, with prolonged duration, inner weight and elemental armament. Basically, whenever we get power charges, we can ignore Flicker Strike or Falling Thunder. First of all, we can activate this charged stuff, and it will add these lightning projectiles on top of our wind projectiles, and they can shock enemies. At the same time, they will be able to give us extra lightning buff on top with the help of inner weight, and duration will be nice to keep it for long durations. It really helps if you can find the extra damage on gloves and rings. This way you will maximize your DPS and will never stuck in the campaign especially. Also, you will notice that I'm using Ricochet on Staggering Palm, and that's actually pretty cool, especially when you fight in a closed space. Your projectiles will ricochet from the walls and hit enemies multiple times, or will hit enemies that should not be hit by your projectiles. And that's basically how powerful and cool this build is. So, speaking of passive tree, we're just getting attack damage, attack speed and maximum charges, because it helps to generate more charges and keep our buffs longer. But you may find all of this stuff in a planner. Now, let's talk about endgame scaling and where to go from here. Basically, we're playing martial artist. We will get these bells everywhere so we can generate charges, and every hit against bell will be critical hit. That's actually big, because you can guarantee critical hits with Flicker Strike, and whenever Flicker Strike critical hits something, I guess even bell, it snapshots damage. So you always want to target bells with your Flicker Strike, and this way you guarantee all Flicker Strikes will deal critical hit damage to enemy. Basically, we need to scale critical damage bonus from this point of the game, and then we will be completely unbeatable and we will just melt everything. My final plan is to use hollow resonance technique. It will create bell on our back, and it will resonate every time we deal critical hit. Also, I will get runic meridians for some cool new runes, because there's 100 and more, and also we will use Way of Stone Fistle, because there's tons of new funny gloves interactions. So, about gloves. All gloves and all different modificators on gloves and unique gloves will have different modificators when you equip this passive node. And on the league start, I plan to make video showcasing you every possible node on every glove I can get. I got all of them already, but there will be like few new gloves. So definitely I won't be able to showcase them exactly on league start. If you're interested in it, make sure to leave a comment for this video that you want to see this exact showcase of every glove in the game, and I will reply to you when the video is ready. As you can guess, that's my league starter. I don't know yet if I'm going for Flicker Strike version or for my Lightning version, but probably I will go for another completely secret and cool version that I cooked for a while. This should be amazing and really powerful build, and if you enjoyed this leveling showcase and some creativity, make sure to drop a like and again leave a comment. And see you guys in the next videos.